It's the Really Is It Show. Really Is It Show. It's the Really Is It Show. Really Is It Show. Really Is It Show.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing out there? This is Z, Ree and Z here. Just hopping on real quick just to talk to y'all to discuss the injury report that dropped yesterday. Leading out to the injury report, they have Tressway. He's listed with a back injury. He did not practice yesterday. Noah Brown, knee, he was limited. Austin Eckler, shoulder, limited. John Bates, shoulder, he was a full participant. Jaden Daniels showed up on the injury report, creating some concerns with a right wrist injury. Despite the injury, he was a full participant. Deron Payne Calf was a full participant, and Dietrich Wise Jr. had a knee injury. He was a full participant as well. And yesterday, the team conducted walkthroughs. So pretty much, the report is an estimation. Dan Quinn just had media press conference before today's practice. He practiced, and he started out just to say pretty much he has zero concerns over Jaden Daniels' wrist injury. Pretty much he mentioned Jaden Daniels. Pretty much he popped up on the injury report yesterday. He was listed as full, but they was just going through the walkthrough, so it's zero concerns there. Pretty much in reference, he mentioned in reference to Tress Way. Tress is feeling good and improving. He's in an injury report with that back injury after getting crushed by Abdul Carter on a punt. So it sounds like a lot of precaution. As we know with our team, they take a lot of precautions with guys when they get injury. They take good care of the guys as well. That's why we made it through last year with a lot of non-serious injuries. When guys need extra rest days or need days to rehab or just to kind of take things light. We're the best in the league at that, managing injuries and keeping guys ready. So here, with with this injury report, there's no really main concerns here. The guys are heading out to go to practice today, and then go from there as we gear up for the Green Bay Packers this week. Um, Also, one of the key things that Dan Quinn talked about, again, he just continues to talk about how much of a competitor Jaden Daniels is. What I mean? He pretty much spoke. Yeah, so Dan Quinn said one thing he's learned about Jaden Daniels is that he's as competitive dude as you can get. A miss here or there generally doesn't stay a miss here or a miss there. A lot of his things, mishaps, mistakes, they're corrected pretty early. He doesn't make the same mistake, twice a lot. What I mean? He's pretty much that dog ass competitor. They talked about John Bates, and asked him about John Bates and how he feeling about Bates's game. And he mentioned, John Bates, he's a commander through and through. I'm absolutely one of his favorite players to coach, and he brings it. John Bates has been getting a lot of recognition over the last few days from, his excellent blocking. They talked about it last year, but there's definitely been some content out there, specifically one in particular, Baldy. He pretty much talked about Baldy from NFL Network, pretty much talked about, John Bates' blocking skills on the Debo touchdown and the Debo Samuel's end around, as well as his own Bills touchdown, and just throughout the game in itself. His run blocking ability is phenomenal. It should be considered one of the best in the league. So kudos to Bates. Over this offseason, we kind of wondered, what did they see in Bates? Bates ended up getting a 3-year extension. And this organization hasn't really given anybody that type of, outside of Terry, they pretty much haven't given anybody, 3-year extensions. So, John Bates is highly valued here. And, they definitely love him. Yeah, so DQ was asked about running back Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, who had a great game, rookie showing, rookie debut, week one, finished with like 10 carries, 82 yards and a tutty. He had a long 42-yard run towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter that where he showed a lot of his ability with cutting, his vision, his patience, even on the touchdown that he scored early on in the game. When he had that hop step, he hesitated, to hop back just to kind of, create space and end up creating a lane for himself where he pretty much walked in the end zone. So yeah, DQ on Bill. He wouldn't be here if he didn't have talent. Sometimes happens in the NFL, kind of like when guys drop. Why did a guy get picked late and he shows out? Sometimes you got to be in the right spot. With Krosky's marriage story, to continue to talk about his perseverance, and talk about how he's just he's again through and through a commander, dog ass competitor. And he just fits that mold. Kudos for Adam Peebles and the guys for finding Bill in the seventh round. So far, it's been so good, and he pretty much showed us why we traded B Rob. He showed us that on Sunday afternoon. We got a big matchup against Green Bay. In 2 days on Thursday, and it'll be another test. I think Bill is definitely going to still get a good share of the carries. He's going to split that backfield with Austin Eckler. And, we got a little bit of sprinkle of McNichols. Chris Rodriguez, surprise, end up on an inactive list. Not sure, what we do there come Thursday. Something to keep an eye on. Will, see Rob be activated, and, maybe McNichols, or maybe not. But one key thing with this running back room, of course, with Eckler and Bill being the top two, McNichols plays special teams. He does a lot on special teams, so that's kind of probably the reason he got the nod over Rodriguez. So we'll kind of see there, but the running back room looking good so far. Looking like we're not, we won't be, missing D Rob much, and whatnot, but overall, it was definitely a good game, and I'm excited. We know we had some mishaps, some things to correct, penalties and whatnot. The offense played a little sloppy, but the defense, as we mentioned, was pretty stout. So definitely excited to see that. Marshawn Lattimore, he locked up Neighbors pretty good. Green Bay has, receivers. Nobody that like kind of stands out like it's a true number one, but their guys do have speed. And Jordan Love is, a nice quarterback. So, he's mobile. He can, move out of the pocket and make some throws. So it's definitely going to be fun game to see. But, I'll definitely hop back on to update you guys later about, what goes on around practice and whatnot, and anything that I see that comes out worth mentioning. But so far, so good today. And the injury report, for anyone that was out there worried about this injury report that we have here, doesn't seem like too many worries there. So, stay tuned. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe at Reading and Z on all platforms. We are on our road to 2K. So, check us out, sub us out, refer us, and all those great things. But until later, Z, Reading and Z. Peace out.
Really is in shop. It's the really is in shop.